analysts examine the causes of the Afghan army's defeat, one of the things they're going to definitely be looking at is how there was such a spectacular failure of intelligence and assessment in the United States. It wasn't even a week ago that United States analysts and the government were confidently saying that Kabul would hold out at the very least till October. And earlier assessments were actually that the Afghan military would hold out on its own despite the withdrawal of US logistical support for its air fleet. One of the questions that's obviously going to be asked is whether this was an honest assessment or just wishful thinking or a gloss over of the reality to justify the withdrawal. But even as these questions are sort of debated in the strategic community, it's really clear there was a gross assessment of both military tactics and in the United States, assessment of the Taliban's intentions. The answer is pretty simple. It's going to mean chronic instability, simply because of the Taliban's well-known zealotry, but also because inside the Taliban umbrella, there are a whole bunch of groups with regional ambitions, whether it's well-known organizations like Al-Qaeda or regional actors like various Tajik and Uzbek jihadist groups or Uyghur jihadists from China. One of the sort of most cynical interpretations of American action is that the Americans won't be unhappy about this because 3 of the 4 sort of regional actors who will face the brunt of this instability will be US adversaries and competitors. That is Iran, Russia, which is a big actor in Central Asia, and China, which is very fearful of instability and volatility in Xinjiang. So one of the arguments that has been given by certain circles in the US is that, well, look, we're not going to have to deal with these problems. These countries that have opposed the US presence in Afghanistan and that are competing with the United States on a regional and global scale will have to suffer the blowback. Let them deal with the problem. And that may be true because the United States has the luxury of distance. It's separated by oceans from these negative fallouts. But this is definitely something India is going to have to worry about because Afghanistan is not an immediate neighbor, but it's not far away. This will embolden jihadist movements targeting India and some sort of radical tendencies within India itself. So this is going to be a worry as this story unfolds. The pullout from Afghanistan comes at a time when the United States is engaged in increasingly serious competition with emerging superpower rival China. In fact, one of the justifications given for ending the war in Afghanistan is that the US needs to focus its resources on this larger, more strategically important contest. But the withdrawal is going to send a really grim message to potential allies of the United States across Asia and the Pacific Rim, which is that if the US isn't serious about its commitment to smaller allies like Afghanistan, what will it do in the face of actual conflict with a country like China? And a whole bunch of countries, whether it's Taiwan, which has been debating the risks of a Chinese invasion, or countries like Vietnam, are going to be wondering how serious United States military commitment actually is. The United States has a fairly bad record of this around the world. It famously pulled out of Vietnam, leaving its allies in South Vietnam to the mercy of the North Vietnamese. It's pulled out of various Cold War conflicts, abandoning its allies. So this isn't completely new, but in the context of this bigger looming challenge from China, this is really a blow to American power and prestige.